Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another gold guide for you. As you may know, in the latest pre-patch, the Cataclysm raids took about a 40% nerf in the amount of gold generated, but if you take a close look at the patch notes, you'll see that the amount of gold from the Wrath of the Lich King and Pandaria raids was also increased. So in light of all of this, I thought I would run all of these raids at level 110 in the beta to get the exact numbers. And I also timed myself to see just how fast we can run these raids with the level 110 scaling. Of course, cutting out deaths and failed attempts and such. So in this video, I thought I'd share my stats with you to help you get an idea on what raids are worth farming, taking into account the gold buff and the level 110 clearing speed. I'm running these raids as a level 110 Demon Hunter in the beta, so my kill speed is greatly increased. Also, the Demon Hunter Mastery increases their movement speed, so in general, they're really good for running through these old raids quickly. My eye level is pretty low. It's at 800, which is pretty common for fresh level 110s. So if you're watching this later on in Legion's lifespan, keep in mind that these clear times will be pretty slow in comparison. Anyways, let's start with the Wrath of the Lich King raids. The first raid I ran was Naxxramas 25-man mode. I was able to clear it in 21 minutes and 39 seconds, and in total I obtained 1,059 gold. Now don't give too much credence to this number, but that's around 2,900 gold per hour. Obviously you can only run these raids once a week, so this number isn't entirely appropriate, but I just wanted to give you a number that makes it easier to compare these raids in terms of efficiency. Another thing to keep in mind, and this will be true for all of these runs, is that this is from vendoring everything. That's including stuff such as cloth, lockboxes, patterns, and so on. For the most part, this stuff is better sold on the auction house, but for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to work with raw gold only. Anyways, next up is Ulduar 25-man, which was a surprisingly low 758 gold in 23 minutes and 29 seconds. This is around 1,900 gold per hour, so the numbers aren't looking too good here. The main reason for this is because there's a lot of RP and slow fights in this raid. Next up, we have the Trial of the Crusader Heroic 25-man. This one has some potential. I managed to pick up 615 gold in just 7 minutes and 48 seconds, which is a rate of 4,700 gold in 1 hour. The big sellers in this raid are the old Trophies of the Crusader vendor tokens, which sell for 50 gold each. The best thing about this raid is that it goes by in a flash. The only thing that holds it down is the RP between fights. It's a nice little chunk of change for just 8 minutes of work though. It may be a good idea to park your unused alts outside of this place and just quickly knock it out once a week. Anyways, lastly for the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, we have the Icecrown Citadel. For this one, I got 794 gold in 18 minutes and 44 seconds, which is around 2,500 gold per hour. As I mentioned, Cataclysm raids took around a 40% nerf, but in general they're still pretty profitable, especially considering the increased clear time at level 110. First on our list is the Blackwing Descent. For this one, I managed to pick up 1,131 gold in 7 minutes and 5 seconds, which is a whopping 9,600 gold per hour. Next up we have the Firelands. It took me 11 minutes and 56 seconds to run this one, and I got a total of 1,554 gold. That's a rate of 7,800 gold per hour. Next we have the Bastion of Twilight. In this one I picked up 1,048 gold in 8 minutes and 33 seconds, which is around 7,300 gold per hour. And lastly I stopped by Dragon Soul, where I got 1,697 gold in around 21 minutes. This translates to around 4,800 gold per hour. Next up, let's move on to Pandaria. These raids are a little more diverse, but in general they do take longer. For these runs, I switched to a level 110 Death Knight in the PvP realm. They start with an item level of 802, but they also have a fully leveled artifact weapon which really helps out damage-wise. First up on our list is the Heart of Fear. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fully run this one. One of the bosses, the Amber Shaper, has a mechanic where you get instantly killed if you don't have enough damage. And with my current eye level, my damage is nowhere near high enough to beat it on 3 of the 4 difficulties. So because of this, the stats for this raid are only for the first 4 bosses before I got cut off. As for the difficulty setting, I ran it in all of them excluding LFR to try and find the most optimal setting. The reason I skipped LFR is because unfortunately the bosses only drop around 10 gold. Also, the loot is set to personal, so you only get 1 item tops, not including bonus rolls of course. Out of the 4 main difficulties though, I came up with the following stats. On 25-man normal mode, I raked up 971 gold in 14 minutes and 7 seconds, which translates to around 4,100 gold per hour. On 25-man heroic, surprisingly, I only got 874 gold, and it took me 18 minutes and 53 seconds due to the higher health pools. This is just 2,800 gold per hour, which was pretty unexpected considering it's a harder difficulty. And for the sake of being thorough, I did also run this on 10-man. For For 10-man heroic, I racked up 575 gold in 9 minutes and 34 seconds, which translates to around 3600 gold in 1 hour. And on 10-man normal, I was able to get a slightly lower 532 gold in 7 minutes and 39 seconds, which is nearly 4200 gold per hour. So it's about a 400 gold and 5-minute difference between normal 25-man and heroic 10-man. As to which one is better, I'll leave that up to you. If you're in a rush, I'd say go for 10-man heroic, and if you want to squeeze out the most gold possible, go for normal 25. Strictly speaking, in terms of gold per hour, 10-man normal is actually the most efficient, but like I said, I really only have that number to give you a way to compare these with each other. It's not a be-all and end-all sort of thing. So in light of these stats, for the rest of these raids, I'll run them on 25-man normal and 10-man heroic, since those are the two difficulties that have the most meaningful difference. Anyways, next I stopped by the Mogu'shan Vault. All bosses are soloable here, thankfully. The only downside is that it's quite lengthy. On 25-man normal, I got 1,224 gold in 22 minutes and 47 seconds, which is around 3,200 gold per hour. And on 10-man heroic, I managed to pick up 729 gold in 17 minutes and 20 seconds, which is approximately 2,500 gold in 1 hour. Next up on our list is the Terrace of the Endless Spring. This one is a little quicker than the vaults. On 25-man normal, I managed to pick up 1,029 gold in 13 minutes and 27 seconds, which translates to 4,600 gold per hour. And on 10-man normal, I picked up only 458 gold in 10 minutes and 23 seconds, which is 2,500 gold per hour. Next up is the big raid, and that's the Throne of Thunder. This one is the longest out of the three, and it's surprisingly soloable on 10-man heroic. We're finally able to get past that Dark Animus, and I even took out the heroic mode only boss, Ra-Den. It definitely was a slog though. For 10-man heroic, it took me a whopping 46 minutes and 12 seconds, and in total I got 1,636 gold. That's a rate of 2,100 gold in an hour. I also ran it on 25-man, but I did hit a brick wall at Durumu and was not able to progress. I think he may be soloable with certain classes or just when I get better gear, but with what I had to work with, I just couldn't progress past him. Up until that point though, I totaled 1,398 gold in 27 minutes and 42 seconds, which is around 3,000 gold per hour. Next up, we have the Siege of Orgrimmar. I think this one is still in the process of being updated. The bosses only drop around 10 gold, whereas all of the other bosses in Pandaria drop around 50. And if that wasn't enough, this one is mechanically unsoloable after the first 3 bosses, as far as I know anyways. The 4th boss, the Shaw of Pride, has a stun mechanic where you need another player to break you from it. So unfortunately, unless they change the way that this fight works, you can't progress past it, unless maybe you have enough gear to just DPS through it. So for this one, I didn't even bother with the gold estimates. On my run, I picked up 200 gold in 20 minutes of work, so not good at all. I did also dabble in Draenor a bit since I know there's some curiosity about that. Unfortunately though, it's not looking good. It's similar to the Siege of Orgrimmar. Each boss only drops around 10 gold, and combining that with a long clear time takes them out of the running, in terms of raw gold anyways. And just for the sake of thoroughness, I did also test out the old Vanilla and Burning Crusade raids. From the look of things, it looks like these are still the same as they are on live. They're mainly here for transmog or achievements rather than gold making. In terms of raw gold anyways. There are some pet drops that can be pretty lucrative, so they shouldn't be dismissed too quickly. So on the left hand side, here's a breakdown of every raid I was able to test, sorted by gold per hour. And on the right hand side, I have it sorted by total gold per raid. So what we can gather from this data is that in general, Cataclysm raids are still the best in terms of raw gold. Pandaria is looking a little better after the patch, but it's still a little bit behind. And the Wrath of the Lich King raids are in the low to middle area in terms of efficiency, with the Trial of the Crusader sort of being an outlier just because of how quick it is. I think out of these two lists, the total gold is more important for a couple of reasons. For starters, one thing you have to keep in mind is that we don't have the damage scaling in Pandaria that we do for Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm. In the latter two, your damage is scaled up to where you'll be hitting for millions sometimes, while in Pandaria you still hit for normal damage. Although there's no guarantee, this is something that's speculated to be changed in the near future. If this is the case, the raids will of course be way faster, and you'll be able to clear more of them too. And if Blizzard follows along with the scheme of things, mechanically unsoloable bosses such as the Shaw of Pride, Galacris, and so on will be changed to where they are soloable. Another reason why you should pay more attention to the total gold rather than the gold per hour is because for the Pandaria raids in particular, the numbers are really rough around the edges because I had to pause and reset the timer a lot due to dying on fights because I didn't know the mechanics. I skipped that whole expansion, so all of those raids were new to me, which affected the gold per hour numbers. And since we're talking about Pandaria raids anyways, another thing worth mentioning is that they have a lot of really valuable pets. Some of them are even in the 10,000 gold range. So stepping out of the realm of raw gold for a second, they're actually really good if you get lucky with a drop. Here you can see I got a living sandling which sells for around 6,000 gold. It'll probably go down in price when Legion comes out and more people run these raids, but it still should fetch a decent price on the auction house, so I think it's definitely something worth considering when you compare these raids. If you want more information on that, I recommend a video by Old Bess where he covers that very thoroughly. I'll have a link to that in the description of this video. But I guess that's all I have to say. Like I mentioned, this is all from the beta, so any of this is subject to change. If something major does change, I'll put up annotations appropriately. And if they're major enough, I might even make a follow-up video and I'll add that to the description as well. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a like if you liked it, and if you really liked it, let me know in the comments and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, good luck, and peace.